Getting in the game was a little slow paced, but once we figured it out, the fun started immediately. It has a unique balance of excessiveness and simplicity in both style and function. The screen is often filled with a million little things, but almost everything has purpose and relevance, like interactions are labeled with words and graphics. It was easy for both of us to forget all the functions, so constant reminders of what buttons to push are really handy.
As Pardon briefly mentioned, there was a minor issue that slowed us down from starting a co-op game. We played on the Steam link we currently have downstairs because we wanted to play on the big screen. However, in its current state, the only way to enable co-op is to hit F2 on the keyboard, which, if you haven't guessed, was in our upstairs office. This is of course a minor gripe, but not having the ability to start co-op without getting off my butt was a little sad. The game itself was really fun, and I loved the combat, which was full of strategy and silly stuff.
Strategy board-like games aren't really my thing, so it's definitely helpful to have an experienced player as a partner. But all the creativity of character and weapon design kept me most interested. There's even item swapping options between players, which is great when your partner gets a novelty canary head and you so desperately want it. The harder part is convincing them to hand it over. The eccentric movements of the environment and the other player moving about independently also keeps things interesting for someone like me, but at the same time, it can make it harder to concentrate. But since this game thrives on chaos, it's good and bad, and most of all entertaining.
Speaking of chaos, each battle was like an actual war as the computer made calm, calculated strikes, and we took our turns bumbling over each other for position. What surprised me is that we didn't really talk too much during battles, yet we were able to beat the enemies pretty readily. This may have been because we fought on two fronts, me taking out the archers while Pardon fought the melee, or maybe just the way the game was designed. There was one part that did grind my gears though. In co-op, you both have control of the camera during battle. If the map was too large and we decided to head in the opposite direction, the camera did not zoom out further than this, so we were either stuck waiting for the other person to finish their turn or make moves blindly.
Probably the most frustrating part of being player 2, like almost any game, is the limitation of specific choices. While fully independent customization is given to each player, things like who drives the wagon is set only for first player, and second player is left manning the cannon. Verbal communication becomes very necessary because the gunman is pretty much useless until there's an enemy, which can easily be avoided. That is, if your driver even notices them in time. Otherwise, you end up in a battle you weren't even interested in fighting in the first place. I just felt useless while on the world map, and that's a definite mood killer. As I watched my partner drive aimlessly around the map, I found myself screaming in my head like a wife on the passenger seat, saying, "Pull over and ask for directions!" But we got through it. Turns out there's a small transparent home indicator on the side of the screen that we hadn't seen before to tell us where the town is and made goals and expectations far more achievable. But all in all, the independence of having your own teams, movements, in battle, and menus makes these small hassles hardly significant.
I can agree that Pit People's co-op is excellent, and having a huge sense of independence while playing in co-op is even greater. Too many games tack on co-op with player 2 either being kind of a lackey or an extra body, so to say. It was refreshing that the story brought in both of us at different times depending on where we were at. Beyond the co-op mode is a wide range of warriors to add to both of your teams, ranging from a bear with a cowboy hat to a penguin ghost fireman guy. Not just that, but the humor is always spot on and matches the Behemoth signature style. Going in as someone who has played a few strategy games, I was very pleased with the game itself. However, getting to play with someone who didn't like strategy games to begin with, and getting to watch as they slowly fell in love, should speak volumes about this game. A co-op focused, controller capable strategy game didn't sound like fun at first, but Pit People proved to not only be fun, but a game we can't wait to dive back into.